Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the posting of the colors by the Kentucky State Police Honor Guard and remain standing for the national anthem performed by the phenomenal Patricia Matheson.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we've hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we've watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
Representing Kentucky's dedicated public educators, please welcome Kathy Carter, Scott Collier, and Laura Hartke.
Hello, I'm Kathy, this is Scott, and of course this is Laura. We're so excited about being a part of Kentucky history, and we're especially excited about being a part of Andy Beshear's and Jacqueline Coleman's inauguration. I think I can speak for all of the three of us when I say it was a thrill to receive a call asking us to be here today. As educators, we weren't surprised, because education was one of the things Andy and Jacqueline made a priority during their campaign. But as normal, everyday Kentuckians who get up every day, get the family ready, get ourselves ready, and put in a good day's work, to get the call to be here today on this platform was nearly the thrill of a lifetime.
It really was, Kathy. Thank you all for this opportunity. If you would, please be seated as we begin our ceremonies. We are really excited today because today starts a new vision for our state. And we know that among other very important issues, public education will remain front and center as long as Governor Beshear and Lieutenant Governor Coleman have anything to do with that. That's what today is all about. It's about looking ahead, it's about working hard, and doing our part to make Kentucky strong.
So thank you all for coming to this 61st gubernatorial inauguration, celebrating the installation of our newly elected governor and his very amazing lieutenant governor now. What we've all been waiting for, onward with the inauguration. We are truly delighted to have Reverend Courier-Journal with us today. Reverend Journal currently serves as pastor of Burnett Avenue Baptist Church in Louisville. Today, he will bring our invocation. Please join me in welcoming Reverend Courier-Journal.
Let us look to the Lord in prayer. O God of our weary years, kind God of our silent tears, Thou who hast brought us thus far along the way, we give thanks for your benevolence and for the beauty of this moment. We give thanks for the rich heritage of this commonwealth, and we rejoice in the gift of new beginnings as we are reminded that you make all things new. Grant now your choicest blessings upon our governor-elect, Andy Beshear. Give him every gift, both spiritual and temporal, to discharge his duties with excellence and empathy. The next 4 years are hidden from us, but the whole of history is stretched before you. You know the challenges and the opportunities that are ahead. So would you please grant Governor-elect Beshear a clear mind to discern the common good, a compassionate heart that is ever ready to do justice and love mercy, calmness in the midst of turmoil, reassurance in times of discouragement, and may your presence ever be with him. We ask your blessings upon every citizen of this commonwealth. May your bounty be experienced by all, regardless of zip code. Cause justice to reign, regardless of ethnicity. Make opportunity ubiquitous, regardless of background, and prosperity to abound, closing the gaps between the haves and the have-nots. O God, we see a new day upon the horizon. Help us to walk into it with courage and confidence, ever looking unto the hills from which cometh our help. We know that all of our help comes from you. These and all good things we ask in the name of that magnificent creator of heaven and earth, in the name of the one who stands behind the dim unknown, keeping watch over his very own. In the name of the one who stamped all human personality with dignity and destiny, we pray. Amen.
Here to sing God Bless America, please welcome Jason Claiborne.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home, my home.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Franklin County Judge Executive Houston Wells and the Mayor of the City of Frankfort, Bill May.
Thank you, Mr. Claiborne, for that beautiful rendition of God Bless America. Thank you. Let's give him one more round of applause. Wasn't that awesome? Welcome, Kentuckians, to your capital. This is your house. It sure is. This is your house. And I want to say thank you, teachers, for being here today, too. Thank you, teachers. Lieutenant Governor and Coach. Former Governor Steve and Jane Beshear. And our new governor, Andy and Brittany Beshear, and their children, Will and Lila. Welcome to Frankfort. Thank you. Will and Lila, your new home is right over here. I know you're excited about it. We talked about this morning. But this is very unique. The first time in the state of Kentucky, we have a father and a son as governor of our great state. Isn't that awesome? Frankfort is here to welcome you. Every 4 years, this is a special event. And we do everything we can to make this a great event for you as a governor and you as people of Kentucky. We're proud to host this. We're proud that you're here today, and enjoy this beautiful city, and God bless the state of Kentucky. Thank you.
It's my honor to welcome Governor Beshear, First Lady Brittany Beshear, and their children, as well as Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman, her husband Chris, and their children, with one on the way, and our newly elected constitutional officers, Senate President Stivers, House Speaker Osborne, and our distinguished members of the Kentucky General Assembly, Chief Justice Minton, and members of the judicial branch, and all of our former governors and first ladies who we're always so glad to see, and all of our honored guests and visitors. As the seat of state government, those of us who call Frankfort home are always available to help make your time in Frankfort a positive experience. We want you all to feel welcome and that you are a part of our community, because it is now your community. Governor Beshear, you're no stranger to Frankfort community, having lived in Lieutenant Governor's mansion when your father served as Lieutenant Governor. So on behalf of my office and the entire community, we want you to know that we stand ready to work with you and Team Kentucky in our making our state the very best it can be.
Thank you, Judge Wells and Mayor May. For more than 33 years, the gentleman from Elliott has represented his neighbors and constituents with honor and distinction as their state representative. He served as both majority and minority floor leader in the Kentucky House of Representatives, and last week Governor-elect Andy Beshear announced that he will continue to serve the Commonwealth as his senior advisor. He has been a leader in the fight for the working people of Kentucky, and we know he will continue to be our voice. Let's please welcome an advocate of the people, a true Kentucky statesman, our friend, Rocky Adkins.
What a crowd. Beautiful faces. The people of Kentucky. Governor Beshear, Lieutenant Governor Coleman, former Governor Bevin, and Lieutenant Governor Hampton, and distinguished guests, those of you here, those on the platform, and those watching across this great Commonwealth, you are distinguished guests. For more than 30 years now, I have proudly served in this beautiful Capitol building that's behind me. I arrived as a 26-year-old legislator, and during my tenure, I had the privilege to be both the majority leader, the minority leader in the Kentucky House of Representatives, and serve with legislators from all over Kentucky, the House, the Senate, Democrats and Republicans, people I call my friends and people I call my family. I was there for landmark reforms of our schools and universities and for legislation that helped Kentucky become a world leader in the automotive and aerospace industries. It's no overstatement to say that few, if any, have come as far as Kentucky has since the late 1980s. And yet, as proud as I am of this accomplishment, I am convinced that better days lie ahead. How about you? As a new administration takes over the reins of government, I look forward to working with Governor Beshear as part of his team to make that dream of a brighter future a reality. Many of you have heard me talk about my college days as a point guard at Morehead State University. One of the first things I learned as a legislator is that many of the lessons taught to me on the hardwood floor work just as well in government. First, you won't win without a game plan. Second, you can't win if you don't have talented people who know their role. And third, you'll lose every time you put yourself ahead of your team. Governor Beshear's team approach, his Team Kentucky approach, takes those lessons to heart. He has a game plan to make Kentucky successful. He is already surrounding himself with professionals who are leaders in their field and who are committed to working seamlessly on behalf of every Kentuckian. Through Team Kentucky, we will lift up our schools and teachers in ways they have not seen for far too long. Through Team Kentucky, we will strengthen an economy of an aging infrastructure so they both can thrive from the eastern tip of Pike County to the shores of the Mississippi River and on the western edge of Fulton County. Through Team Kentucky, we will make our health care system affordable and accessible because we can achieve nothing if we don't have good health. And through Team Kentucky, we will set a new tone here at the Capitol and across this great Commonwealth. The Capitol building belongs to the people of Kentucky. This is the people's house. Governor Beshear and his administration recognize that successful government is about building consensus and finding common ground. We don't have time to be our own worst enemies. We need vision and commitment to get us where we want to be. And Governor Beshear has proven he has that vision and he has that commitment. I saw firsthand in the campaign we ran during the primary. Y'all remember that? And after that election, and I mean this with all of my heart, I was proud to be part of the team that brought us to where we are today. You were part of that team. Give yourself a big round of applause. And I mean this with all of my heart as well. I am proud to call him my friend. My friend. And I look forward to working with him in the years ahead. If I only had one word to describe that future, it would have to be the word hope. That is what I see as I look across the faces of those here in the crowd today. And that's what I heard over and over, Governor, in the months during the campaign. Kentuckians have hope that a Beshear administration will benefit all of us, not just some of us. They have hope an administration will unify us rather than divide us. And they have hope that they will have a leader who governs with civility, conviction, and good old common sense. Are we ready for good old common sense? Just had a little bluegrass music to go with it, we'd be all right. I'm here today to tell you that those hopes will be answered over the next 4 years. In 2023, we will look back on this date as the first step toward an even brighter future. President John Quincy Adams once said that if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. That's the kind of leader Kentuckians deserve. And that's the kind of leadership we will see from Governor Beshear. Governor, I wish you and your family, your beautiful children, I wish you all the best as you take on this awesome responsibility. And I look forward to doing all I can to make your administration the most successful one Kentucky has ever seen. Thank you again for giving me this chance to speak today and for being a part of Team Kentucky. And Governor, I know that you are, and I know that I am. I'm fired up and ready to go. How about you?
I love it.
Here to, ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Here to sing Don't Give Up on Me, please welcome Christian Bishop, accompanied by John Isaacs, Josh Risen, and Chris Schaus.
I'll fight for you. I always do, until my heart is black and blue. I'll stay with you. We'll make it to the other side, just like lovers do, and I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to interlock. I'll wait for you. 'Cause I'm not giving up. I'm not I'll hold on to you. No matter what this world will throw, it won't shake me loose. And I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to interlock. I'll wait for you, I'll wait for you. I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on, I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even if nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily. So don't give up on me. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left. So don't give up on me.
Thank you, guys. Jack Coleman has served in many roles. He was a fourth generation to run the family's lumber business. Yes, thank you. You may be seated. Sorry about that. Yeah, my bad. Start over. Great job, guys. Now back to you, Jack. Jack served many roles. He was a fourth generation to run the family's lumber business. He served as deputy commissioner of the Kentucky Housing, Building, and Construction. He was the director of the Community-Based Services and Outreach with the Bluegrass Community Action Partnership and the Industrial Education Coordinator with Campbellsville University. In his public life, he served on the Bergen City Council, the Bergen Independent School Board, and as a representative of the 55th District of the Kentucky House of Representatives, where he chaired and served on several important committees. And he currently serves on the Harrodsburg City Commission. But if you ask Jack Coleman what he is most proud of these days, he will not hesitate to tell you that what he is about to do right now ranks at the very top. So here to introduce the Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky is her father, Jack Coleman.
Good afternoon. When I hear Jack Coleman, as of late, I think my father's in the room, because from this day forward and forever, I will be known as the father of the Lieutenant Governor of Kentucky. And I must tell you, it has a wonderful ring to it, don't you think? On behalf of the Coleman and O'Brien families, I want to take a moment to thank Governor Andy Beshear for his text asking me for Jacqueline's contact information, which seems like 5 years ago. His subsequent choice of her as his running mate, and his belief in and support of her throughout the campaign. As a father, I always believed Jacqueline had the ability, but I wondered if she would ever have the opportunity. Thank you, Governor Beshear. I also want to thank the people of Kentucky, Democrats, Republicans, Independents, that reached out, embraced, encouraged, and also truly believed in Jacqueline's ability to become the 58th Lieutenant Governor of Kentucky. As we begin today, in my introduction, I want to do it by placing a bet. Pardon the pun. The bet would be that I believe I have known Lieutenant Governor Coleman longer than anyone here today. 37 years, 6 months, 1 day, 4 hours, 39 minutes, and approximately 42 seconds as of 2 o'clock. Our journey in life, the many paths we take along the way, are filled with lessons, hardships, heartaches, joys, celebrations, and special moments that ultimately bring us to a destination. In this journey, we encounter many challenges that will test our courage, our strengths, weaknesses, and ultimately our faith. I've been privileged to have been there to laugh and celebrate through the joys and accomplishments. I've also been there to cry in anguish through the hardships and heartaches. But I can tell you without a doubt, every single solitary time, Jacqueline either celebrated her joys and accomplishments with class and dignity, or met her hardships and heartaches by picking herself up, dusting herself off, and got back in the game. Now, I would like to be able to stand here today and take credit. But the reality is, I was blessed in my life to have been surrounded by 3 incredible women that had my back and tempered my many, many failures throughout my life. I believe their presence was key in imparting to Jacqueline 3 of her most endearing characteristics: the look, the laugh, and the love. My mother, Nanny. If you've ever been a player, a fan, an official, or ever been in the gym with Coach Coleman, you have most likely witnessed the look. Nanny was 5'4" ball of fire that kept us all in line, using that look and a few choice words from time to time. But Nanny's life has played a role in who Jacqueline is today. My twin sister, who passed away in 2007, Aunt Jan. If you've ever been in a place, a campaign event, and heard this great, big, loud, infectious sound, you've heard the laugh. Began as a volunteer candy striper at Hagen Hospital in Harrisburg, about age 13, through receiving her PhD in nursing at the University of Kentucky. There's never been a more caring and compassionate person. Aunt Jan's life has played a role in who Jacqueline is today. Calla Coleman. There are many times in our lives when the journey just doesn't exactly fit or follow the master plan. All of a sudden, it's like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. But if in those times someone can, through quiet, compassionate, consistent, steady relationship, renew our faith to love unconditionally, to reach out to others in need, to serve others, you too have felt the love. Calla has played a role in who Jacqueline is today. And finally, the one epiphany moment in our lives when we're 70 miles from Mobile, Alabama, driving 70 miles an hour. That's a little pun. An inauguration is a time of celebration and anticipation. Collectively, our journeys, the many paths we've all taken, have ultimately brought every one of us here today at this place on December the 10th. It's now, with great honor from the Coleman and O'Brien families, that I introduce to you the 58th Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Jacqueline Coleman.
Thank you, thank you. Two years ago, I stood on these steps in front of our Capitol in a sea of teachers and public employees in what would become the beginning of a movement and a journey that bonded us forged new friendships, and ultimately led to this moment. It's so good to see so many of you here again today. Today, our Capitol is open to everyone to celebrate. I cannot think of a more fitting theme for this campaign, this inauguration, and this administration than Team Kentucky. Here in Kentucky, we know we are stronger when we work together, and that what more unites us than divides us. We are a commonwealth committed to do right by our neighbors and to lift each other up. I was born and raised in a rural part of Kentucky in Mercer County. It's where I learned the value of public service and a commitment to the community. This is why Chris and I chose to raise our family there too, hoping to instill those same values in Emma, Will, Nate, and in February, the newest member of Team Kentucky, Evelyn Coleman O'Brien. Woo. What drives me is the understanding that all of us here today, regardless of party, ideology, or which part of Kentucky we come from, want what is best for this Commonwealth. This Beshear Coleman administration will be one that is focused on doing everything we can to make a positive difference for Kentucky's children and our families, because we are committed to building a brighter tomorrow for the next generation. I became a teacher because I believe at my core that education is one of the greatest gifts we can give. That every child, regardless of their zip code, deserves access to a world-class education. This entire education community, from the bus drivers that get our kids to school, to the food service workers who feed them, to the secretaries that make the schools run, get up every day with two primary goals: to love our kids and to help them become better today than they were yesterday. Every challenge we face in this Commonwealth, we see in our classrooms every day. Our classrooms are microcosms of our communities. The challenges of our lifetime often come through our classroom doors on the shoulders of our students. In Kentucky, we know the incredible impact a good public school has on our communities. And our teachers are the nation builders at the heart of our better tomorrow. Together we celebrate the best and brightest our Commonwealth has to offer, and we share the burden of poverty, neglect, and homelessness have on our kids. As educators, we're on the front lines of fighting the opioid epidemic. We see the damage of domestic violence, what it means for a family to see a factory close, or for parents to have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet. As difficult as those realities are, we also find hope in knowing that public education is the solution to every challenge we face. Education has the power to break the cycle of poverty, to catapult a student to places they never knew they could go, to find stability, safety, hope, and opportunity, to change the trajectory of a child's life today and their family's lives for every tomorrow. Andy Beshear understands this. It's why he picked me, an educator, to serve as his lieutenant governor, and why he named me Kentucky's Secretary of Education and Workforce Development. I want to take a minute to underscore what this means. It means that starting today, public education is a top priority in Kentucky. I thought you guys might like that one. That the voices of our classroom educators, the people on the front lines, will take a prominent role in shaping public policy. As Lieutenant Governor and Secretary of Education, I will work to build a better Kentucky for our families and our children, to right inequities and remedy social injustices, to bring people together because the next generation should not have to be the adults in the room. We owe them so much, and that work begins today. I believe so strongly in Team Kentucky because I have seen firsthand what a commitment to our kids can do. In our home, we have a junior in high school who's ranked number 1 in his class. We have a senior who will become the first student in the history of Frankfort High School to graduate with an associate's degree. And we have a senior in college who grew up in a home where addiction, absent parents, and poverty threatened the first 14 years of her life until she moved into our home and became a part of our family. All 3 will achieve success in different ways, but the common thread in every child's success is the teacher who helps to change their lives. And here's what my colleagues and I know to be true. Whether we have kids who overachieve or kids who must simply overcome, the journey is always worth the sacrifice. That's the kind of community that we are here to build today. A public education system that belongs to our kids. A government that belongs to you. Thank you so much for trusting us to always fight for you. Together, we will achieve great things for Kentucky. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
to support the Constitution of the United States
to support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue a citizen thereof,
and to faithfully execute, to the best of my ability, the office of Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
the office of Lieutenant Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
according to law. And I do further solemnly swear that since the adoption of the present Constitution, I, being a citizen of this state, have not fought a duel with deadly weapons within this state nor out of it.
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons in this state nor out of it.
Nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons.
Nor have I sent or accepted a challenge to fight a duel with deadly weapons.
Nor have I acted as a second in carrying such challenge.
Nor have I acted as a second in carrying such challenge.
Nor aided or assisted any person thus offending.
Nor aided or assisted any person thus offending.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Lieutenant Governor. Oh, I'm so happy for you. I love you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I have a buzz all over you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
kind of feel like I just stole the show there for a second. So we all know that Andy and Brittany Beshear love the children of Kentucky. Over and over again, they've shown their devotion to the families and young people of our state through their many hours of selfless service, volunteering for projects, and supporting programs that make things better for all people, but especially our young people. They realize that Kentucky's first family should always be thoughtful and set the example for others to follow. And they're mindful that what they say and do and how they treat others is a reflection of the kind of person they are deep inside. These are the things that they believe, and these are the things they've taught their own children to believe. Will is a 10-year-old big brother. Among other hobbies, he really enjoys being on the baseball diamond with his team, the Sun Devils. And Lila is Will's 9-year-old younger sister, who loves to ride horses, a family trait that she's getting really good at. Please join me in welcoming Will and Lila as they share a few special words with us.
I'm Will Beshear.
I'm Lila Beshear.
We would like to read to you the prayer of St. Francis.
Will you pray with us?
Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. And where there is sadness, joy.
O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life.
We now want to introduce you to someone we love very much.
She's the most amazing mom, and now she's also your first lady.
Brittany Beshear.
I'm supposed to follow that. Thank you, Will and Lila. That was amazing. You are amazing. The words of St. Francis's prayer are our abiding motto as a family. Let us be an instrument of our faith, to be of service, to give back. When Andy was thinking about running for governor, we sat down as a family to reach a decision. Will, as usual, came prepared. He sat down with a list, and his first question was, how will Dad becoming governor help people? And with that, our son distilled down what we are all here today to do. We're here as Team Kentucky. That means that we are responsible for how we treat each other. We are responsible for ensuring every child gets a good public education, that people can access quality, affordable health care. Simply put, we are responsible for treating each other well. My faith teaches me to value everyone, no matter who they are, where they come from, or their politics or ideology. We each have the power to bring hope and joy to someone else with kindness. That's what Andy ran to do, to lead an administration that brings us together. That starts with setting a tone of energy, positivity, and respect right here in Frankfort. It's about working together to lift up our entire Kentucky community. I believe that every child is born perfect with all the potential in the world, and it is on every one of us to make sure every single Kentucky child feels loved, valued, and appreciated.
That's right.
That is what I watch Andy do every day with our children, working to be the best dad he can be, watching them grow in their abilities as a baseball player and a horseback rider, supporting and guiding them as they grow into young adults, passing down the same values he got from his parents and grandparents, values like faith, family, and hard work. I see these values in Lila when she offers a hug to a woman in church who she had never met but was mourning the recent loss of her husband. I see it in Will when he offers a word of encouragement to a teammate on the baseball field. I know Andy feels the same deep responsibility for all Kentucky kids. As Attorney General, he fought to keep our children safe and protected, and I saw constantly how much that responsibility weighed on him. He took on anyone who would sought to do them harm, and that includes human traffickers and child abusers. Ensuring that Kentucky's children are nurtured and supported is so important to him. And this is exactly why he places so much emphasis on public education, because every child deserves to go to a school that teaches them kindness and compassion while giving them the skills they need to go out into the world and achieve their dreams. Andy is equally committed to teachers because he knows the role they have in helping to unlock opportunities for our kids. They're on the front lines every day, and they deserve our deep and unwavering support and appreciation. So as we embark on this journey together, I know that your next governor will wake up each and every day committed to making life better for every single Kentuckian, because Andy truly cares about every one of you. It's about the future of this beautiful Commonwealth we all love so much. I now have the amazing privilege to introduce Andy. When I sat down to write this, I was flooded with so many memories. The first time Andy and I met, we were at a birthday party. I looked up and I saw a handsome guy across the room, and I watched him make his way over to me.
True.
Within minutes of our meeting, our friends dispersed. They could tell from the first moment that we were smitten. Memories of how Andy had his marriage proposal printed on the label of a champagne bottle, and how I was confused and impressed that not only was my name on the bottle, but that it was spelled correctly. So I completely missed the part how he asked me to marry him.
Right.
And I remember walking up and down the hospital hallway in the middle of the night to speed up Will's delivery, and the look on Andy's face when we heard Lila's cry moments after her birth. So many precious moments. Andy is my best friend. He's an incredible father, steadiness under pressure, his sense of humor, his ability to hold me tight when I need a shoulder to cry on, his steadfast commitment to doing everything he can with all that he has to help people, to stand up for, as he says, the lost, the lonely, and the left behind. While I didn't know the path our life would take when we first met, I knew without a doubt that our lives would be full. All those seconds have led us to this most humbling and precious moment. We are honored to serve as your first family. Thank you for placing your faith in us. It is a privilege to share these next years not only with Andy and our children, but with all of Kentucky, which is why it gives me profound joy to introduce you to my husband and our governor, Andy Beshear.
My fellow Kentuckians, our Commonwealth is more than just a state. It is a commitment to an idea and an ideal that we will come together for the common good of all people. Together, common good. The commitment to be that Commonwealth for the common good is our North Star. It should lead and guide us. But just saying we are a Commonwealth is not enough. For today, it seems that we are further from realizing our commitment than ever. We not only teach our children that words matter, but that our actions speak just as loudly. My hope is that together we can work to live the values that we teach our children in both our words and our actions. I intend to lead by example, and I will strive to build an administration that does the same. As a people, we have succeeded when we've shared a common purpose. When Kentucky came together to fix the injustice of our rape kit backlog, that was government at its best. Members of the legislative and executive branches, members of law enforcement, and our nonprofit community worked together to make sure that each and every rape kit from our historic backlog was tested. And we continue to seek justice and closure for survivors and their families. I hope that my legacy as Attorney General will be never giving up. Every time we help make an arrest or help secure an indictment in a 20 or 30-year-old crime, we restored a little faith in our system and our government. We showed that we would never give up. As we sit here today, Kentucky is one of only a handful of states that has ended its historic rape kit backlog. That's the type of history we want to make, one where Kentucky leads instead of lags behind. We succeed when we focus on our shared values, values that tie us together as Kentuckians and Americans. We succeed when we put the collective interest, the common good, ahead of our personal ambitions. We succeed when we focus right here in Kentucky on making life better for our people instead of allowing national divisions to distract us from the work at hand. We succeed when we stop treating each other as the enemy. That's when we get government at its very best. That's when we get Kentucky at its very best. See, we have a chance right here and right now to get this right when so many are getting it so wrong. My faith teaches me to treat others with dignity and respect. My faith also teaches me forgiveness. That's why on Thursday I will sign an executive order restoring voting rights to over 100,000 men. To over 100,000 men and women who have done wrong in the past but are doing right now. They deserve to participate in our great democracy. By taking this step, by restoring these voting rights, we declare that everyone counts in Kentucky. We all matter. Americans have been disagreeing about things since the founding of our nation. Even the structure of government creates conflict. But it's only when we view those who disagree with us as the enemy that our differences become irreconcilable or insurmountable. I believe that Kentuckians have more in common, regardless of what party we belong to, than any national divisions can ever pull us apart. We are on the same team. Here in Kentucky, we know a few things about winning teams. We know that winning requires putting the team above oneself. Well, we're all in this together on Team Kentucky, which means we have to begin looking at each other as teammates and as fellow Kentuckians, not as Republicans and Democrats, not as liberal, moderates, or conservatives, not as rural or urban, because each of us is more than a letter or a label. We are wonderful, complex, flawed, but amazing human beings, shaped by our families, our communities, and our experiences. When we realize that, we will have the freedom to focus on what's most important, making life better for our families, all of our families. That's what being a part of a Commonwealth means to me. Striving together to lift up one another, to realize we're better when we work together, and we have a better chance of bettering the lives of our friends and families and neighbors when we do so. Those are real Kentucky values. It means helping our neighbors no matter who they voted for. It means treating everybody with dignity and respect no matter what party they belong to. As one of my first acts as governor-elect, I traveled to Clay County with Senate President Stivers, Senator McConnell, and Attorney General-elect Daniel Cameron. Together, we opened a drug treatment facility. Numerous members of the Clay County community attended, and some of the best conversations I had that day started with them telling me they didn't vote for me. But they said they were excited. They were ready to work with me, that they had hope. I am now the governor of all the people of Kentucky. I will be a governor just as much for those who voted against me as those who voted for me, because I view this election as an opportunity to heal wounds, an opportunity to work together instead of angling for political gain, an opportunity to make room at the table for voices that have been excluded. One of those voices you've heard from today, Lieutenant Governor Jacqueline Coleman. Not only is Jacqueline the first teacher to serve as Lieutenant Governor since Martha Lane Collins, she is the first Lieutenant Governor to also serve as our Education Cabinet Secretary. Jacqueline has gone from being locked out to Lieutenant Governor. This morning, I reorganized the State Board of Education and appointed new members who support public education. These members were not chosen based on any partisan affiliation, but based on their commitment to make our schools better, to put our children first. Today, for the first time, Kentucky's teachers and educators led the inaugural parade. Because they represent the best of us. They're the ones on the front lines fighting to give our children the opportunity to succeed. They're the ones Muhammad Ali, a great Kentuckian, referred to when he said service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. After this ceremony, the doors to this capital, your capital, will be open to all who wish to enter. To help us celebrate our democracy and to remind us all up here who we work for, and that's you. And every day I'm governor, these doors will remain open to all Kentuckians. No one will be locked out because everybody counts. In the Attorney General's office, we worked every day to fight for the lost, the lonely, and the left behind, for victims of child abuse, sexual assault, and human trafficking, for seniors who were taken advantage of and for families worried about losing their health care, for victims who needed someone to fight for them. Leadership is not about doing what's popular. It's about doing what's right. And most of all, it's about doing what's necessary for our people. To do that, we have to meet people where they are and work with those we disagree with. While I cannot and I will not promise to please all people all the time, I can and will pledge to lead with an outstretched hand. 12 years ago, another Kentucky governor, in his inaugural address, quoted Thomas Jefferson, saying every difference of opinion is not a difference of principle. I know that governor pretty well. He's sitting right over there. To Steve and Jane Beshear, I am grateful for your wisdom and passion for helping the people of this state. You have been wonderful parents. And I am grateful for the greatest family that anyone could have. Brittany, Will, Lila, you are my foundation. You are the core of who I am, and I love you with every part of my being. For my family, and for all of our families, we will need to work to find common ground because our challenges are many and solving them will not be easy. Kentucky faces a critical shortage of teachers, and far too many work a second job just to make ends meet. Prioritizing our children also means prioritizing their teachers. If Kentucky is to compete nationally, not to mention with our neighbors, we need to pay our teachers a living wage. We will start by including a $2,000 across-the-board raise in the budget we submit to the legislature. And if our public schools, especially those in struggling areas, are going to survive and thrive, we need to make sure that they are adequately funded. That means looking at class size, providing technology, and striving to give every child true opportunity. This is not a partisan issue. This is a Kentucky issue. The same goes for protecting the retirement of all of our public employees. Kentucky's educators, social workers, police officers, firefighters, and other first responders keep their promise every day to serve, protect, rescue, and educate. We must keep our promise to them and their families. This is not a partisan issue. This is a Kentucky issue. When Kentucky expanded Medicaid, it provided 400,000 more of our fellow Kentuckians access to affordable health care. These are our brothers and our sisters. We sit next to them in the stands on Friday and pray next to them in the pews on Sunday. After the expansion, these neighbors could go see a doctor without fear of bankruptcy. And the expansion ensured nearly all of Kentucky's children had real access to health care. I will honor and strengthen our commitment to these families. I will do everything in my power to ensure Kentuckians with pre-existing conditions never lose their coverage. And I will fight to lower the cost of prescription drugs, and will start with insulin. Because health care should not be a partisan issue. Health care is a Kentucky issue. Kentucky is still 47th in the country in per capita income. Let's admit what that means. Too many of our families live in poverty. Worse, 22% of our children live in poverty. This means nearly 1/4 of our kids are never certain about their next meal or whether they'll have a roof over their heads. There is no easy solution, and this problem is bigger than any one governor can solve. As a start, we have to recognize that this is not just about the number of jobs. And it's not enough to say the unemployment rate is low. That statistic doesn't tell the story of families struggling to make ends meet with 2 and sometimes 3 jobs. We must implement a comprehensive economic plan to create the better paying jobs our families need. We need it desperately, and we owe it to our children. We can start by investing in agri-tech and advanced manufacturing, 2 areas where Kentucky is poised to be a national leader if we have the vision and the will to be bold. We all want Kentucky to be a place where our children and grandchildren want to and can afford to raise their own children, keeping our families together and growing our Commonwealth for the common good. Daniel Boone once said, "Heaven must be a Kentucky kind of place." He was right. But now we are living in the most divisive period of our lifetime. Today gives us a chance to get this right, to be a lighthouse in the storm, to be a beacon in the night. Today is a day to celebrate our history, our democracy, and our freedom. But it is also a day to recommit to being a Commonwealth for the common good. We're all on Team Kentucky. Let's prove to this country and to each other that we can get this right. I can't wait to get started. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless the Commonwealth of Kentucky. All right, come on up. There we go. Right here.
Are you prepared to take the constitutional oath?
I am.
There you are. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
and to be faithful and true to the Commonwealth of Kentucky,
so long as I continue to be a citizen thereof,
so long as I continue to be a citizen thereof,
and that I will faithfully execute,
and that I will faithfully execute,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
the office of Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky according to law.
the office of Governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky according to law.
And I do further solemnly swear
And I do further solemnly swear
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
that since the adoption of the present Constitution,
I, being a citizen of this state,
I, being a citizen of this state,
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
have not fought a duel with deadly weapons
within this state nor out of it,
within this state nor out of it,
nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
nor have I sent or accepted a challenge
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
to fight a duel with deadly weapons,
nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge,
nor have I acted as a second in carrying a challenge,
or aided or assisted any person thus offending,
or aided or assisted any person thus offending.
so help me God.
So help me God. Thank you. Thank you. Come here. Come here.